Everybody knows that a plant-based diet is great for reducing your risk of chronic disease and losing weight and improving your mood, but there are so many positive side effects that you just don't hear people talking about. So in this video, I'm going to discuss exactly what kinds of side effects I've been able to achieve in the last 6 years following a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So something that might not seem super important to you is really big in my life, and that is recovery time following a workout, specifically following something like a strength training workout or a heavy run. So I am all about exercise. It is so important to me to get my movement in on a daily basis. Now, that doesn't have to be something super crazy and super difficult each day, because I know I don't want to put that kind of stress on my body consistently, but I need to be able to strength train and then be able to bounce back the next day and chase after my toddler and take care of normal daily functions. Being able to take in all these heavy antioxidant laden foods and make sure my body is getting the appropriate material to rebuild those muscles and take care of the inflammation that I've created through the workout process, it has completely changed my life. This can also show up when I'm having a super stressful week. The following week, instead of laying in bed and hitting the snooze over and over and over like I used to, I'll jump right out of bed and it'll be like any other day. It'll be like that following week never even happened. This also holds true for getting things like the common cold or the flu. Anytime I catch some kind of virus, I find that it is so much easier for me to deal with and recover from. I feel like the duration that I'm sick is lessened and the severity of the illness doesn't seem too severe. Obviously, I'll never know exactly how severe the illness would have felt had I not been plant-based, but I assure you that I used to spend a lot of time off of work stuck in my bed trying to recuperate from different illnesses. So I feel like this is a huge bonus. If you enjoy learning about whole food plant-based nutrition, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I come out with videos every Monday and Thursday morning. Another change I've noticed in my health is a lessened need for sleep. How cool is that? You get more hours in the daytime. You get more wakeful, vibrant hours of your life on a plant-based diet. Now, again, there's no way that I am able to prove this, but I have heard this from a number of different accounts, and it tends to be a bit of a trend in the plant-based realm. People who follow this diet and nourish themselves regularly tend to need less sleep to recover from all of the damage that they've been doing to their metabolism throughout the day. So if you have less inflammation due to the foods that you're taking in throughout the night, when you're using that time frame to repair and rebuild your tissues and lessen the inflammation created throughout any given day, it's so much easier to get less sleep and to not need as much sleep. You don't wake up feeling groggy and like you need to continue hitting that snooze button. You wake up and you get ready for your day and you go about it like you would have had 13 hours of sleep. And yes, I used to sleep 13 hours in a day when I was really ill from my celiac disease, but since I've been able to recover from that, I tend to need maybe 7 hours per night on average. But on those nights that I tend to get closer to 6 or 5, I can still fully function and I'm not dragging my feet. It is a completely different experience. You just have to try it to understand it. All right, this next one's kind of weird. So I used to get tons of runny noses and sinus infections as a kid and throughout the majority of my younger adult life. So all of a sudden, when I changed up my diet and started taking better care of myself, specifically through dietary means, it completely went away. The last sinus infection I recall having was probably back in college, maybe a decade ago. So I am very fortunate that I don't have to deal with that or the medications that go along with sinus infections anymore. But on top of that, if you know what it's like to have a constant runny nose, it is obnoxious. There's nothing sexy about slime coming out of your face 24/7. This is especially when I would brush my teeth or eat certain foods, or exercise was a big one. But every time I would be in some kind of cold temperatures or just my body temperature would drop, I would constantly be blowing my nose. Everywhere I went, I had to have Kleenexes with me. How embarrassing. Thankfully, no longer an issue. All right, this next one might seem obvious, but it is nonetheless important, and that is dental caries. I had way too many trips to the dentist and spent way too much money at the dentist office getting my teeth fixed due to the types of foods I used to eat, which was lots of highly palatable standard American style food, like lots of candy, lots of sugar, lots of soda, lots of juice, lots of Rice Krispie treats and cookies and brownies and anything and everything sweet, salty, and bad for my teeth. So since I have started a plant-based diet, I no longer am listening to the sound of that drill sitting in the dental seat. I get to go get my checkup every 6 months, get my teeth nice and clean, and leave happily with a clean bill of health. That, my friends, is a great feeling. My next observation might seem kind of weird, but I think it's pretty cool. So I sweat so much less than I used to, and that's probably due to like not needing to detoxify as much as I used to when I was eating like a lot of processed junk food that required a lot of removal of that salt content that my body really didn't need to begin with. So I know you ladies in particular out there will enjoy this side effect. When I'm jogging, when I'm sleeping, when I'm out on a sunny day, there is no need to worry about bringing deodorant everywhere I go because you really don't have any sort of need for it. These next two observations are likely due to the same mechanisms. So I used to have these super rigid nail beds, and it was very obvious that I was not getting proper nutrients because it was brittle and unhealthy, and my hair would do similar things like break off and just be super brittle all the time. But that has not happened in a number of years, like I said, since switching to this diet about 6 years ago. The other thing that might have to do with the same processes is no more shin splints. I don't know 100% if that's due to my diet, but I don't know what else it could be from. I used to get these regularly. Every single time I would run, which was almost daily, it was nonstop, and it didn't seem to matter what I tried or how many days I took off. Even months down the road after resting, I would go back for another run, very slow, very gradual, listening to my doctor's orders, and still be stuck the next day with painful shin splints. That's no way to live, especially if you so enjoy jogging. So I'm assuming this has to do with lessening the inflammatory response in my body, as well as getting the proper nutrients leading it to those vessels and those muscles and the bone tissue. Everything seems to be falling into place with this diet. So another thing that may or may not seem obvious is confidence. Your self-confidence is going to shoot through the roof when you figure out how to take care of yourself. I was bedridden, I was unable to work, and I was miserable. I hated myself and I hated my life. There's nothing to be happy about or confident about when you're in that state of mind. So the better I was able to learn about how to properly care for myself, and the more research I did, and the more results I started to see year after year after year progressing to the point where I am to now, you gain this unbelievable sense of self-confidence. You feel like you can accomplish anything. I went from taking 11 medications a day to 0, just based on how I feed myself every day, the types of foods I put in my mouth from day to day. We tend to really downplay nutrition's role in our health in this society, but I don't understand why, because it's so clearly important. Okay, 2 more. Number 1, no more food cravings. I know. Did you ever think there would be a point in your life where this was not happening? I literally wake up every single day and don't hear that echoing call from my refrigerator telling me to come get some highly palatable treat. It's simply a sense of hunger and a sense of satiety and a sense of hunger and a sense of satiety. There's nothing in between. There's no obnoxious obsessing about the next time I'm going to be eating, or what I'm going to be eating, or I hope this particular goodie is there, or this salty thing. It's just nourishment, and it's super freeing. Last but absolutely not least is the change in my skin. Not only is it more vibrant, but it's more so about the problems I don't have any longer. things like acne and weird itchy rashes that come about if the wind blew on me the wrong direction. It was lots of allergic responses and inflammation and autoimmune reactions that finally have subsided. And this is only recently that this took place. This took a number of years to slowly, gradually get better. But eventually, I'm finally feeling like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Everything has kind of reached an equilibrium where I feel healthy, I feel good, and I feel natural. And it's a priceless sensation to look in your reflection and not be completely overwhelmed by everything that you want to cover up with makeup every day. So, all you ladies out there, I'm sure you can attest to this to some extent. It is wonderful not having to wear a ton of crappy makeup on your face every day. You just wake up, maybe put on some mascara, and you're out the door. Okay, yes, these are all wonderful improvements for my body, but what I want you to start thinking about are all the weird ailments that a plant-based diet might cure for you. And again, I'm not saying that this is for everybody and this is very individualized. You may or may not have the same outcomes I have. You may or may not experience the same things I've experienced. But it's worth a try. If we can control any aspect of our health or our health trajectory, not having to pay for medical bills and doctor visits and medications and weird procedures while you age is at the top of my priority list. I hope this video has given you some inspiration and maybe even a little motivation to either try a plant-based diet or try to stick a little closer to the one you're already on, because it has done amazing things for my life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.